Well, let's have another installment of Grindhouse Purgatory, but this one, a little different here. I noticed that, I guess it's TBS is doing some kind of real crime thing, and they started with the Pam Anderson, Tommy Lee sex tape for some strange reason. I didn't watch that show for the simple reason is I don't care. When that tape came out, God, how long? Had to be over 30 years ago. Someone gave me a copy. They gave it to me like on a Wednesday. So I went home and watched this thing, and it was like, there's only 2 lines of dialogue, and it's both from Pam is, where are we? And oh, it's so big. Tape ran 45 minutes of, whatever, showing drug use, rampant sex, and all that other stuff. 45 minutes. So I'm sitting in my office thinking, 45 minutes, huh? And you got 4 VCRs strung together. I went down to my store and I pulled out, and this happens when you buy out video stores back then, you wind up with some really great stuff and a low-end plethora of crap. Documentaries, kids tapes, sports tapes, hunting tapes. You get the idea. So what I did was, I went into my store and pulled 100 tapes that I basically could not fucking sell. I went home, stripped off all the labels, and copied the Pam and Tommy Lee tape over them. Took me a while, but I came up with 100 copies. I blew them out over the weekend for $10 a piece. Not a problem. Now in the interim, this horrible crime that was committed against these two, number one, if you do a sex tape, why the fuck did you leave it out? Horrible crime, but anyway, they cut a deal with Vivid Video to put it out legit. So about 2 weeks after they cut that deal, I wind up in Liquidators, and lo and behold, good old Norm has them in Amaray cases with the Vivid cover. So, hey, I bought 100 of them, sold 100 of them. He got nailed with a cease and desist, and I still sold more. And the weird part was people were coming in and asking for the Tommy Lee tape. I'm like, here you go, okay. But that wasn't the first celebrity sex tape I bootlegged. There was another horrible one out called Tanya Harding's Wedding Night, which was basically 12 minutes of her cottage cheese filled ass bouncing up and down on a bed with commercials. It was put out by Penthouse. So of course, I bought one, made my own cover for it, and sold a few of them. It didn't sell as good as the Pam and Tommy Lee one, but nevertheless it did sell. Well, 10 years later, I'm cleaning out the back room at Norman's, and I find copies of my own bootleg, which I thought was pretty fucking funny. All of a sudden, there was a run on this stuff. I don't understand, the logic behind it, but I guess in America, people just want to see other people screw, for lack of better words. So I know there was a Tom Sizemore tape, which I really didn't need to see at all, never would want to see. I know there was a China and X-Pac tape, but then China did that whole mental meltdown and went up to an X-rated videos anyway. But in the interim, there was the wonderful John Wayne Bobbitt tape, Frankenpenis. So I figured I could make money on this. So I go down to my wholesaler. I don't even know if they're still around, the Video Wholesalers of America, located in wonderful Newark, New Jersey. And I buy a copy of this tape. Well, it's in a yellow instead of black casing. All right, I plug it in, set it to copy. I'm getting nothing. And I can't figure out why I'm getting nothing. And then all of a sudden I get a phone call from the people I bought it from asking me, we know what you're doing and we got a problem. The problem is they were putting the tape in the video peep shows, but as soon as they put the jack on the tape would roll. So I said, look, I'm trying to figure this out myself. So what I did was I took a blank tape, took the tape out of it, took the yellow casing tape and took the Bobbitt tape out of that, put it in the blank tape, and that cured the problem. Trouble was, nobody gave a shit. Nobody wanted to see it anyway. So that was like a total waste of time. But it helped the guys that sold it to me. So they were sort of in my debt. So anyway, what's the other one that comes out? There was the Jasmine St. Clair, whatever the hell it was. I'm not gonna, I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, but we all know what she did. 300 people with Ron Jeremy. That tape was so long it was put on an LLP speed, so I just bought it to sell. And selling it, I would get it back the next day. Please take this back. Give me anything. This is so bad. Well, there was another underlying problem in my little past midnight video store, that my customers hated Ron Jeremy. They literally despised him. It didn't matter who else was in the movie. As long as his name was on the box or his likeness was on the box, I couldn't sell it. And I would wind up taking the thing out of the box and basically putting it in a grab bag, like three random tapes with no box for $15. That's the only way I can get rid of it. So my customers hated Ron Jeremy. But I just find it interesting that after all these years that the whole Pam and Tommy Lee thing has just come back up again for whatever reason. And hey, I usually, didn't stoop to bootlegging, but hey, I know a buck when I see it. And basically it cleaned out all my dead stock and, got me $1,000 back in the kitty. So thanks, Pam and Tommy. Appreciate it. That's our show for today. We'll check you out on the flip side. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. And above all, stay safe.